On this week's show, more Flames heading to Eugene. It's track and field heading west. We'll tell you who punched their ticket to the NCAA championships.
Then we introduce you to a former Flame who's making a difference in the CrossFit community and detail Toby Mac's history with Liberty Golf. It's all on this week's Flame Central.
The calendar may say June, but we're not taking off for the summer. We have more great news and stories from Liberty Flames athletics to share with you. Alongside Annie Corey making her Flame Central debut, I'm Matt Warner.
And I am so excited to be here, excited for the show that we have for you today, starting with some big news from the track.
Yeah, just last week, we ran our story on freshman phenom Allie Zealand. Everyone knew she had a bright future on the track for Liberty. We just didn't know the future was so close. This past week at the D1 East first rounds meet, running the 1500, Zealand would turn in a record-setting performance. Her time of 4 minutes, 9.76 seconds shattered the old record by more than 5 seconds. Who owned that old record? Oh, just her mom, which so happens to now be her coach, Heather Zealand. But not only was this an incredible run in terms of the record book, it was also good enough to get Allie a spot in the Outdoor Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon. She will be the first Lady Flame to reach the NCAA championship in the 1500 since her mom in 2002. An incredible accomplishment which earned Allie and Heather an appearance on this week's Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage.
You are going to nationals. What was your initial reaction once you finished the race and found all this out?
I was so surprised. Going into the race, my goals were, I had a lot of outside goals, outside chances of making it and running sub 410, but those were not really my main goals. So when I finished, it was really surreal. It didn't hit me for an hour probably that I'd actually done it. So just looking up at the scoreboard and seeing 409 in 6th place, I knew what time I had to run to make nationals, and I knew that was it, and so it was just unbelievable. I knew that I had a chance of being faster and a chance of breaking the school record, and I knew I had it in me, but I didn't know if I was in shape enough to do it, so it was a big surprise.
Unbelievable. Being, coach, mom, through all of that, was there a moment within the race where you're like, oh, this might be the time?
Yeah.
Did you know?
I did. They went out hot. So when they came to the first lap, I thought, whoa, this is really fast. If she can hang on, she's going to get it. And going into the race, we both said that morning, we're like, it's time for the record to go down. I think within the last 400 meters, I knew she was going to have a really good race. Going to nationals during her college year, we were thinking sophomore, junior, we were expecting, hoping, praying that would be the case. But having her do it as a freshman is wild.
If you want to hear this entire conversation with the Zealands, and why wouldn't you, check out the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage. Each Monday, we drop a new episode. It's fun, it's free, my two favorite things. Find it in all the usual podcast places or watch it on the Liberty Flames YouTube channel.
Well, Allie Zealand's not the only Flame heading out west. For the second consecutive season, Liberty will have both a male and female hammer thrower representing at the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships. Paola Bueno will make her second straight trip to the final, shattering program records at the regional meet in Jacksonville. And now, the junior All-American, she's hoping to do the same thing in Eugene. On the men's side, Kellen Kimes is set to make his NCAA championship debut. To put things in perspective, guys, last season, Kimes finished 44th at the regional, and this year he soared all the way up to 11th, claiming a spot in Eugene as just a sophomore. Let's hear from both Paola and Kellen about what it was like to punch their ticket to Tracktown.
So I had a really good start of the season. I PR early, so I was so excited about it, but then I had some struggle. I was nervous, to be honest, before regionals. I knew I was practice for it, but it's a big meet. You never know what's gonna happen there. But I just went for it, and that works.
It was pretty late on to the competition that I found out that I qualified, because I didn't necessarily throw a mark that was really setting me in there for sure. And so we were all pacing around, me and coach, just wondering, waiting to see what other people were gonna throw. So going into it, I was really just giving it all to God, just waiting to see what he had for me. I was just really excited to be able to put something together.
Yeah, I'm really thankful for them. They're very coachable athletes, and they trusted the training plan because the plan was to kind of peak them at this last meet, and they trusted the training plan. I'm thankful for that. And yeah, they competed at a high level.
I was really nervous the first time I was there, so I think I'm more excited this time and ready to be there. I know how to expect, just to stay calm, be prepared for it, and just enjoy. Being there is about enjoying, so I'm just excited to be there and give my all.
I love the nerves in a competition because, a lot of people it stresses them out, but it's an opportunity to use them to funnel them. Because they really do help you if you know how to utilize them. And so I'm excited to just have another competition where I'm going to be super nervous and let that funnel me into hopefully a big throw.
Congrats to those two. Well, it may be the beginning of summer right now, but fall will be here in the blink of an eye, and it's never too soon to start planning your football Saturdays. With that in mind, Liberty Football has released its updated schedule with game times. You want to know when Liberty's massive showdown with JMU kicks off on September 20th? Oh, it's 6 p.m. How about the first ever visit from Missouri State in November? That would be 1 p.m. All home game times are set, and if you'd like to be in Williams Stadium to experience the fun, go to lufootball.com and get your tickets today.
And Matt, staying on the gridiron for just a moment, there's no doubt that fullback is sadly a dying position, but regardless, it takes a different breed to do the job that they do. Former Flames fullback Derek Bishop prided himself on being that physical, relentless weapon for Liberty, but when he stepped away from the game, he found a new form of pushing his limits, using that passion to strengthen the community as well.
I prided myself when playing football. If there was one thing I was going to be, it was to be the most physical guy on the field. I wanted to be the guy when you walked out, you hated hitting.
Derek Bishop, the senior from Bradenton, Florida, very seldom makes a mistake. Coaches always call him really the toughest player on offense.
The life of a fullback is a thankless job, but that didn't bother former Flame Derek Bishop.
You may be faster than me, you may catch more touchdowns, but I wanted you to dread the physical contact. So there was nothing more satisfying than the head ringing, but then knowing, looking up, and then your guy got 7 yards, 10 yards, a breakout run. It's funny, it's a cliche, but now when you look back 15 years later, I would give a limb to be able to feel that again.
And while Derek wouldn't put the pads on again, he would take what he learned as a Liberty football player and put it to use in a new sport.
End up after about a year getting out of college, one of my friends challenges me to take a CrossFit class. He's like, oh man, you don't want to do CrossFit. I'm like, I don't want to do CrossFit? All right, we're gonna go do CrossFit. So I go try. The first day, there's a bunch of miserable movements. I end up passing out, throwing up, but the amount of satisfaction I had after the workout was the first time I had felt something like that since football and training and playing for Liberty University. And then I became addicted.
The former Flame was a natural in the sport, reaching the pinnacle in 2016 as he competed in the CrossFit Games in the team division.
The CrossFit squad, it's all about them right now.
I was the team leader and the team captain. My role was to do a lot of the grunt work things, and in CrossFit there was a fair amount of, pulling tires, riding a bike really hard and fast till basically who can take the most pain and get off. And so I definitely prided myself on, I'm gonna show you how much pain a human can tolerate, and you guys just be the best athletes you can, try to mimic that, and let's see how far we can go.
The CrossFit squad who will open up a lead over CrossFit Melbourne. Great transition from segment 1 to 2.
Talk about epitomizing teamwork. This is where it all happens.
My CrossFit success was eerily similar to my football success, and my 5 teammates were undoubtedly better CrossFit athletes. They could do the high-end skills better.
CrossFit squad continuing to hang around that lead battle. They currently sit in 3rd as only 1 rep separates our top 3 teams.
They were all the quarterbacks, receivers, catching touchdowns, and I was a fullback.
CrossFit squad is making their way to the south end zone and the finish line. They will take 2nd by a few feet.
Although he no longer competes at that level, Derek is still an influential voice in the CrossFit community.
So if they can get on top of the bar for this setting, it's a good rep, don't worry about the rest of it.
And one way he uses that influence is through an annual competition to raise money for victims of child trafficking in his home state of Florida.
Welcome to the 5th annual Throwdown for the Kids. So without a company like Place of Hope, this wouldn't be possible, so we're very thankful them partnering with us and giving us a place and what they do in terms of mission work and a place of Christ is incredible.
Place of Hope is South Florida's largest children and families organization, and we are caring for the neediest in our community, children who have been abused, neglected, exploited, human trafficking victims and survivors, single mothers with dependent children facing imminent homelessness. Derek had reached out and said, you know, as a father, human trafficking is something that terrifies me, and the fact that people are exploiting children right here in our backyard, I want to do something about it. Not very often you have somebody quite as special as Derek and his team that steps out and does that for you and says, let us do the heavy lifting, let us use our resources, and that's really what they've done.
Athletes, we're about to get started. Everyone can put on a for-profit event. A lot of gyms do, and that's great. You give a platform and a venue for people to challenge themselves, have team camaraderie, and all that's great. But we decided that we run the business in a way to where we don't need to do a for-profit event. Hey, Gabriel, do a burpee. Do a burpee. Now do a burpee. Good job. Now go do 5.
In just 5 years, the Throwdown for Kids has raised nearly $80,000 and has made a lasting impact on the West Palm Beach community.
The funds that are raised through this event help our overall mission and our overall goal, serving those that are at risk as well as survivors. So what Derek and the team here at CrossFit Squad, what they're doing is they're raising funds for us to be able to stand up in our community and fight that fight.
You can hit that. Just make sure you pull your elbow behind you and faster. Yeah. Hey, sit back, stand tall. Up, up.
Whether it's playing fullback, competing in CrossFit, or making a difference in his community, so much of who Derek Bishop is and what he stands for can be traced back to his time at Liberty.
The main driving factor in my ability to be successful was the grit that it takes when you're doing any kind of professional venture, but especially a small business venture. The amount of adversity that you're forced to overcome when you're part of a high-level program like Liberty University and Liberty University football. Iron sharpens iron is a real thing. And when you see what real competition looks like over a long period of time, like 4 or 5 years, like when you're playing a sport, you learn what can happen after long periods of sacrifice. Those principles have carried over into this. If you've been in those environments, it feels like an unfair advantage, especially when you have Jesus Christ behind you.
Thanks to Donald Scott for producing that piece. Well, if an update on the Liberty football schedule a little earlier wasn't enough, we have basketball schedule news as well. The Liberty men, fresh off their Conference USA Championship and NCAA tournament appearance, have been invited to play in the ESPN Events Invitational from November 24th through the 26th at the ESPN Wide World of Sports in Kissimmee, Florida. Joining the Flames will be 7 other teams: UC San Diego, Bradley, Vermont, Princeton, Towson, Temple, and Rhode Island. 5 of those teams won 20 or more games last season, so it should provide a good early test for the Flames this year. All right, we're going to take a time out, but when we come back, did you know one of Christian music's biggest stars began as an athlete at Liberty?
Plus, Rhett McGibbon joins us for his final warm, hot, and Fuego of the year. That's all when Flames Central returns.
So you're looking for a university that's perfect for you, a school that has anything you could possibly need.
Anything?
You want a place that has the programs you want to study, and maybe a few more, just in case you change your mind.
I think I'm going to sign up for the fashion design program.
All right. A place with state-of-the-art facilities. I mean, look at this campus.
And who doesn't love big-time sports?
And
Okay, now we're on a roll. Somewhere you can hike, slide, strike, shoot, climb, eat, and most importantly, eat. You want a place that takes you to space? Okay, maybe not, but we can teach you how to fly, or pastor a church, or run a business. And all that with a great view? Yeah, I think I know a place.
At Liberty University, we understand life can be unpredictable, and when you need a resilient career, your education should withstand any test. So we've made sure the degree you need is within reach by freezing one of the lowest tuition rates in the nation for 8 years and counting, and giving scholarships, discounts, and credit for work you've already done. Because we're proud of what you do. We've done this for over 30 years, and we know how to help. We're here to help you.
William Byron's gonna win! William Byron wins it at Atlanta. Hugs that white line, drifts up and comes to the line. Wins it.
Welcome back to Flame Central. Liberty has seen many athletes graduate and move on to greatness. That greatness, though, doesn't always come in their respective sports. Even 7-time Grammy Award winner Toby Mack was once a Liberty athlete, being a catalyst for the start of the Flames golf program. His story from the golf course to sold-out concerts all over the world is one to remember.
Toby Mack is a 7-time Grammy Award-winning recording artist, songwriter, and producer. But music wasn't his first love.
Golf was everything. It was my entire dream. You know what I mean? I wanted to try to play on tour. I was a pretty good junior high school golfer, good enough to get a scholarship.
Toby would take that scholarship and use it to play golf at Jacksonville University. But after his first year, he longed to be at Liberty.
All my friends went to Liberty, and I just loved the atmosphere of Liberty. I wanted to come here. All my buddies were thriving here. I'm like, I wish I could go there.
But there was just one problem. Liberty didn't have a golf program. So Toby would reach out to family friend and Washington Redskins head coach Joe Gibbs for help.
Joe Gibbs knew I loved golf. I played with him many times, and he knew that Liberty didn't have a program, but this is where I wanted to be. So he actually called Dr. Falwell and said, I got a kid here that's a great golfer, and you don't have a program. What's wrong with you guys? You need to have a golf program. So Dr. Falwell was like, well, we'll have one next year. Our first year, we were a club team by the NCAA rules. And then the next 3 years, of course, it was D2 back then. I got to play here and was captain for a couple years and loved it. So I was here from the, inception of the golf team. And it was great because we were playing against, at times, UVA and Tech and other smaller schools around Virginia. And it was like a startup program, but we were pretty good.
But it wasn't just all golf and studying for Toby during his time at Liberty. He was also discovering a new talent. One that he could have never imagined.
I kind of stumbled into music. But, God uses everything. It's like the golf led to me meeting Michael Tate because he was like, aren't you that golfer? And he's in music. And I'm like, this guy's going out singing, but he's not singing the kind of music we like. It's in like super conservative songs. I'm like, this guy looks like he'd be singing songs that we like, but he's singing these hymns, which I think hymns are beautiful, but we wanted to do music that felt like us in the moment. You know what I mean? The kind of music that we love.
Toby and Michael would become friends, and together with classmate Kevin Smith, they would form the Christian rap group
DC Talk. Down with the DC Talk. Down with the DC Talk.
The group would go on to perform all over the world and sell more than 5 million albums.
I would have never guessed that I'd do music my whole life. All I wanted to be was a pro golfer. And I even told my dad when I ran do music. I'm like, give me 2 years to try this and I'll be back. And never looked back.
Yeah, Denver, how you feeling?
And yet, all these years later, golf is still a huge part of Toby's life.
Some people say I tour based on playing golf, but it's not true. But I definitely know the great golf courses around our nation, and I get to play them all the time. If I'm in your town, I'm playing your golf course. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are at the Mid-America Center in Catering. And I mean, we're in Council Bluffs, Iowa. A man that's playing the AT&T Invitation at Pebble Beach Pro-Am, he's got to do what he's got to do. He's got to make do by all means necessary. And by any means necessary, he will get his practice. Booyah! Sorry about the curtain, Council Bluffs. I've written many, many songs on the golf course. Probably songs that you people know out there. And just communing with the king, man. I love communing with God on a golf course. I love golf, always have. It's a lot like life, man. It's a lot like life. You work hard and it shifts. And once you get one part of your life kind of dialed, another part creeps up that's tough to handle. You know, that's how golf is. It reminds me of life.
Big Toby Mac fans in the Warner household, big Rhett McGibbon fans as well. Rhett joins us now for Warm, Hot, and Fuego. This will be the last one until the fall, and it's the male athletes of the year. Big deal.
It is.
I'm sure people are on the edge of their seats. These athletes are like, I hope I made it this year. Rhett, it was tough decisions, I know.
It was really tough.
Let's start with Warm.
First off, thanks for bringing me the big set here
for
this. Final one. Let's get it cooking here. I feel the heat. All right. Sometimes you do things wrong in life. I'm going to say that right now.
Wow.
And last year, he probably should have been one of my top 3 male athletes of the year.
Okay.
So I want to right a wrong. He also had a good season this year. That's Amari Lewis, the sprinter for Liberty Men's Track and Field. Holds the record for LU at 9.88, right? So this
in
guy.
100.
Yeah, exactly. He's got some speed to burn. Had a really solid season this year. He just competed in the D1 East final first round down in Jacksonville, Florida, and he was there in multiple events. You know, he's like in the 100, 200. He's also part of the relay team. So this is a guy that had a really good season this year, had a tremendous season a year ago. I wanted to give him his flowers.
That's right.
And this is a guy, I compared these guys to cars. I did do some comparisons.
I didn't even
Dodge, I know, sorry, I didn't break that out. Yeah. Dodge Viper SRT. It's got that headline speed, bold acceleration.
I just like, Rhett, that you're not too big of a man to admit when you were wrong.
I
appreciate that about you. All right,
yes.
From Warm, we go to Hot.
All right, men's basketball, Talon Peter, he's like a Porsche 911.
I like that.
He's got the handles, he's got the speed, and that 1 year as a Flame did a lot of good. It was so much fun to watch. Led the team in points per game, 13.7. But when you look at his percentages, like this guy coming off the bench for majority of the year, 578 from the floor, 453 from three-point land. He was a dream come true for this coaching staff. Sometimes you wonder, okay, a guy coming up to another level of difficulty, how is he going to adjust? He was fine.
Yeah.
He was just fine. Just a beauty to watch and a great guy, too.
Absolutely.
We should get him for another 3 years.
That's why we would take it. I think he'd like to stick around if he could.
I think so, too.
All right, finally, Rhett, our top honor in Fuego, male athlete. Who does it go to?
All right, sometimes you kind of forget about what happened way back in the fall of 2024. Quentin Cooley. Who could forget that guy? Now with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Got to go Bombers. He is like a Ford F-150 Raptor. He's got that truck to him, some power.
Yeah.
He's just, I don't know how much he's going to tow, but he's going to run you over. I love that. 1,254 yards, 13 touchdowns, over 100 yards per game was his average. There's so many nights where you're kind of like, man, the offense is feeling a little stale. What are we going to do? And then all of a sudden, Quentin Cooley would just bust out a couple of big runs. And you're like, oh, we're okay. The bowling ball has got it handled for us.
Yeah, just turn and hand him the rock, and he'll get you
That's
right. Rhett, great job.
Thank you.
Great year of Warm, Hot, and Fuego. We're already looking forward to the fall.
So am I.
We're happy to have you back. All right, hey, don't go anywhere. Much more Flame Central coming up right after the break.
As humans, we are constantly growing and learning in every stage of life, from taking our first steps to graduating college. The pursuit of knowledge is something we all strive for. Liberty University's vision was crafted with all of this in mind to train champions for Christ from kindergarten to PhD. The K-12 years are some of the most formative years of our lives. That's why Liberty University Online Academy was created, to prepare the next generation for college through certified teachers and flexible Bible-based coursework. that allows families to schedule their schooling around life. For many, the college experience is something very special. Students from across the globe attend our world-class campus to learn and grow in community, not only through academics and athletics, but with spiritual growth being at the center of it all. And for those seeking a different experience, Liberty University Online provides access to a flexible, high-quality college education with over 600 programs to choose from. With access to a campus you can still call home. We believe that learning is a lifetime pursuit, and education should be accessible to everyone. So whatever stage of life you're in, you can train to be a champion for Christ at Liberty University.
God's calling for your life can be specific, and at Liberty, we are committed to equipping you to pursue that calling. Choose from more than 350 unique programs of study, or design your own major through interdisciplinary studies, and be confident your major is the perfect fit. No matter how specific your calling, you'll find a program of study to match at Liberty University and become your best as a champion for Christ.
Where you train is where you learn how to say, I know this. I've done this. I've got this. I'm ready. So you can surpass expectations when they say you're hired. At Liberty University, you'll train in world-class facilities as you prepare for a world-class career.
Liberty University's K-12 Online Academy has the resources your family needs to excel. Students benefit from a flexible learning schedule with a team of teachers and advisors who are always ready to help. Our affordable rates are guaranteed to stay through June 2026. Plus, with the LUOA Graduate Scholarship, our graduates receive 50% off residential tuition at Liberty University. Discover a Christian education tailored to your student, from kindergarten all the way to college.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Unfortunately, we are all out of time. But hey, if you want to watch the show at any point or watch any stories you might have missed, you can always go to libertyflamecentral.com.
And don't forget, a new episode of the Flame Central podcast every Monday. You don't want to miss it.
That's right. In fact, this coming week, a huge interview with Ian McCaw, Liberty Athletic Director. You'll want to take a listen to that. Hey, for Annie, I'm Matt. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you right back here next week.